Welcome, and today we are talking about full body orgasms. This is probably my very favorite topic of all, and this is probably why I began my own sexual exploration journey, because I really wanted to experience what that feels like to have the full body activation, the full body bliss and ecstasy. So since I'm talking to the male population here, I will be predominantly stressing out that for men. So a lot of people think that full body orgasms are only possible for women, but that's not true. It's possible for all humans and for men as well. Very much so. Men, though, in our society, are used to one specific ejaculatory orgasms, which is short in nature, maybe 5 to 10 seconds. The climax is happening, that tension release, which is essentially what orgasm is. It's a tension release in the body, with the fluid, with the semen that gets released. And generally men do not separate climax, the orgasmic sensation, the tension release, from the fluid release, like from the ejaculation. And it is possible to separate those, and it's possible to experience just localized genital orgasms without ejaculation. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the full body activation. Full body orgasms, what are they felt like? What is it really? So every individual, every human being has his or her own way of experiencing that. However, generally, what that feels like in the body is like when your sexual energy is traveling all over throughout your whole entire being, through your belly, your chest, your head, your hands, your feet, all of it is just like activated. And it feels like tingling, it feels like tickling, it feels like waves of energy are moving you, and it's so pleasurable. Oof, like I'm talking about it and I'm experiencing shivers. It's extremely pleasurable, extremely satisfying, and it just something that you never want to stop. And it not necessarily can happen during sex. It can happen during a workout. It can happen during dance. It can happen during a really profound moment when you are listening to beautiful music, or when you're in the nature. And perhaps some of you who have experienced psychedelics, I'm not that much into them, but I know people who have, they've experienced that type of sensations in their body. So what to do in order to reach those full body activations? And those are so they felt like elixir for your body, like a tonic for your body, and you no longer want to experience anything else other than that. It's just so good. It's just so satisfying. You no longer want to go back to ejaculatory orgasms. You just want that all the time. So for men, in my training, in my what I coach men on, there are so many things, so many levels that a man needs to go through in order to experience that. And it's like any other human. Like, we have so many restrictions and so many taboos around sexuality. So one cannot really experience the full-bodied activation if there are if there's shame around sexuality. If there are certain restricted beliefs about sexuality. So working on that is number one thing. Deconditioning yourself, seeing yourself totally in you as a sexual being. The other piece is really retraining your body not to be aroused by the imagery and the fantasy and the pornographic images, but experiencing the pleasure, experiencing the ecstasy from the body directly. And that means diving deeper into yourself and sitting with the sensations that are arising. Meditating on the sensations. The more you are going to spend time meditating on the sensations that you're experiencing in the body, the louder the volume on those sensations will become. And that will allow you to be so in tune to that, tingling, or there's that sensation of butterfly in your belly, maybe, or in your chest, or in your back, or in your genitals. All of it is just you sitting there, noticing all the sensations, welcoming them, witnessing them, and breathing through them. And the third probably piece is what helped me tremendously to reach the, full-bodied orgasmicness, is the breath work. Doing breath work on your own during, your personal self-care routine in the mornings or whenever you decide to do them is so helpful. Because that breath work really brings you to a place of expansion of your nervous system. And you will start to notice that you can take on more pleasure and more pleasure and even more pleasure. And that's what it's all about. You will start allowing not only have that pleasure in your genital area, but everywhere else in your body. And doing breath work on your own, or doing self-pleasure practice with the breathing exercise alone, will also be tremendously supportive. So, deconditioning yourself from toxic sexuality messages that society put upon you, that's the number one. Second, really spending time in body meditation, doing body meditation, and noticing the sensations that are happening in your body, in different parts of your body. And the third piece, really doing active breath work to activate the orgasmicness. And I have a practice, and I probably won't offer it to you in this video, but I have a practice, a recorded practice with the connected breath work, where you breathe in and out of your mouth. And in the next live, in the next Facebook Live, I will do a guided connected breath work for all of you, so you can experience what it might feel like. So if you are curious and want to receive a recording of this breathwork practice, I'll be happy to share it with you. Ideally, I would prefer you to have a little bit of a support from me in order to do it right, but also happy to share it with you. Just message me, let me know in the comments below if you really would like that for yourself. So full body orgasms, they are real, they are extremely nourishing and nurturing and activating, and offering your body this sense of rejuvenation and sense of like you can take on the world. They just needed for each of us, humans and men and women. And so when you have sex, you can also experience full body orgasms if you let yourself train yourself individually first with the breathwork tools, and then when going into sex, you can just experience that with your partner, and engage her, your woman, into being that orgasmic in a full body way. Hope you love this video, and I'll see you next week.